open space meeting. I would like to call the meeting to order at 7:05, and would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good. Okay. Thank you, and thank you all for coming. I know we have some members who are absent because of the spring break and are in transit at this time. So I will call the roll. And so Urbani? Present. Weeks? Mr. Geist is on vacation. Ms. Phillips is on vacation. Loveday? Shelton is excused. Robinson? Here. And Mr. Bloetscher?
Present.
Good. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda as presented?
Move to accept the agenda as presented.
I was going to have an addition. There is a correction on the spelling of our presenter's name. It's Enzo Bonomo, Bonomo, not Bonomo. And we will welcome him shortly. With that, any other addition or deletion to the agenda? With that, I would move to approve the agenda. Second by Ms. Urbani. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Good. I have a next order of business is the approval of our minutes from our March 5th meeting. I suspect everyone was able to receive those from Mr. Geist before he left. Here's Ms. Weeks. Thank you. We're just approving the minutes from the last meeting. Settle, take a look. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our March meeting.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Bloetscher. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Urbani. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approval of the minutes of our March 5th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Good. At this point, I'd like to introduce our Eagle Scout candidate, who we've been working with on his Eagle Scout project, at least in the formative stages. And he is going to present his project for the Thoroughfare Canal Cut area, and what was characterized as the grubbed out area on Meridian across from Lowry. So at this time, I would like to introduce Enzo Bonomo, our Eagle Scout candidate.
Hello everybody, my name's Enzo Bonomo. Nice to be with you all today, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about my Eagle Scout project. So a little bit about me. I've been in scouting since first grade, been the senior patrol leader of the troop, which is the highest leadership position in the troop, for a little while now. I'm also have many other jobs in the troop. I've gotten many awards, including the Charles H. Towns Nova Award, National Outdoor Service Award, and Den Chief Service Award. I'm very interested in zoology and conservation, which is why this project excites me, as I did work at a volunteer job at the Toledo Zoo a couple summers ago. So what is this project? So I'm going to be building a small platform along the Thoroughfare Canal by that area that you guys may see pretty often, the cleared out area. It's going to be right off of Meridian, kind of near Macomb. I'm going to also be building a small path, probably out of wood chips, along that to get along the road that's going to be built to get to my little deck. And all details of the design and plans are already being handled. I'm working with Man's Lumber and the Finazzo Company and many other resources to get everything in action. What is this for? So this platform I don't think many people appreciate the native wildlife of Grosse Ile as much as we should. I mean, I was just in Key West recently, and they're talking about some birds that we were seeing, and I was like, wow, all those birds live in Grosse Ile too. So I thought that was very entertaining that all these native species live on our island, and I don't think people appreciate them enough. Which is why this project really excites me, as there are so many native animals, such as the ones you can see here, like the wood duck and the river otters, that can live in our canal. And I believe if we give people the chance to see those things, they'll be more in touch with nature and all that. The platform can also be used for fishing, hopefully, which will allow people to, most likely kids, to get more chances to fish, because as it looks now, there's many bridges and stuff where they're not supposed to fish, and a lot of kids are looking for a way to fish on the island, so it's would be exciting for them to have a chance to fish on this little dock. So how long will this take? So my project will be done in around July, hopefully. I'm going to be starting fundraising pretty soon on it, and most of the permits have already been submitted or are waiting to be submitted. I'm going to be having volunteers help build the project, hopefully my fellow scouts, people from my sports teams like the wrestling team, the football team, and NHS students who need the hours. I'm also going to be working with general contractors in my family and other resources to allow me to finish the project pretty soon. Any other questions about the project?
Enzo, when you say that you've been preparing the permits, the permitting process, that is adjacent to a navigable body of water attached. Are there any requirements from the Army Corps of Engineers or state of Michigan?
So I worked with one of the, my old scoutmaster, he was part of the Army Corps of Engineers, and there aren't that many extra requirements. There are a couple, but they're not as much as if I were to build it in the water. That's really the tough part. So it's going to be right along the water, which allows me to have an easier time filling out those permits.
At one time, we were talking about like even the capability of a floating dock, or part of it could be floated, okay? So even though it may be on land, I think we all need to be pretty sensitive to the fact that it also that's a wetlands, and it's also prone to flooding. And so I guess nothing would be worse in some cases than you build it and you do all the permits, and then it gets washed out or it gets washed away, and I mean that's a concern. Are you taking that into consideration in your plans or in your?
Well, I went out there with John or Mr. Finazzo, and we looked at the land, and it's just a matter of building the supports a little higher so that if it does come to flooding, I'm hopefully going to have like a staircase to get to the platform, which will allow people to not get that wet. And if you're out in the woods, you should expect to get wet a little bit. Right. So, and so hopefully that won't be an issue. We're going to try to build it just above where it can flood.
A question regarding the access. Presently, this property is west of and just south of Lowry Road, the connector there. There is a small area where gravel was used as a base so that when the water lines were being put together, they would have an opportunity to do that. That appears to be ideal for parking and close to the front of Meridian, the frontage on Meridian. What are your plans for a trail that would go from that gravel area back several hundred feet to where your platform is going to be? What kind of trail are you going to anticipate?
So I'm anticipating building some kind of wood chip trail. Walking down the area, it is pretty, it's a little bumpy, but I'm hopefully going to try to get somebody to make it a little easier. Still trying to figure that out right now. But I'm going to make it just wood chips, just along the path that I've been taking to get there, which is pretty flat, just has a little bit of brush that I need to clear out, but it shouldn't be that bad.
Have you had an opportunity or considered talking with either John Keim or Derek Thiel, John being the field director for community development and Derek being the township manager, about having wood chips? We're into the spring cutting season, and wood chips that could be dropped there for you. We used probably over 100 cubic yards last summer, and I'm wondering if there's an ability to do the same thing for you to help move the project along.
Yeah, I haven't considered that yet, but that would be very helpful to the project if I had that opportunity.
I still think we have wood chips behind the soccer field.
Soccer fields, yes.
Right.
Getting them down there is the hard part, whereas if you have somebody that's a contractor here and can back up and drop the chips for you, that might make it a little bit easier
Lot
for you.
easier.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. So.
Have you had any estimates as to the overall cost of your project?
Right now, the cost is looking at around maybe $2,000 to $3,000, maybe more, but that should be it. Most of the cost is going to be coming from the actual materials to build everything, but I'm working with Man's Lumber to maybe they can give me some wood they can't sell, but I could use, so I could get a discount on that. So that might lower the cost.
One last question is, what do you see the size of the platform as being? Can you give me roughly width by length and how far off of the canal you anticipated being?
So the project, it's going to be probably a 12 by 12 deck. Since we're going to be making it out of Trex, which needs to be cut into certain sizes, 12 by 12 would be the easiest for them to cut. I guess it would probably be maybe a foot off the water, maybe a little closer, but that area tends to be a little iffy on where the water line is to the shore, so we're probably just gonna, there's a flat area that seems to be pretty good for building, just a little elevated from the mud and stuff, so I'm hoping to build it there, which should be allowed to be pretty close to the water.
Have you drawn up your plans yet? And
Do you mean like construction plans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it back here. So these are the construction plans. I worked with one of the people from Man's Lumber to build these. These are he just drew them out for me. This is probably what it's gonna look like. So this is what the deck's gonna look like. It's just gonna be a basic square deck with railing, and I haven't drawn out what the wood chip path is gonna be yet, but I'm hopefully gonna do that soon.
okay.
Yeah, I see that.
Any other questions?
Maybe just a suggestion too, as you take a look at some of the decks that we do have either on GROSSE, or if you go to the refuge down at Humbug, the International Wildlife Refuge. I mean, they have a number of different decks down there too, and you may want to just, in terms of like looking at, that might assist you in your designs.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get to do that. Thanks for the suggestion.
Enzo, last question, I promise. In terms of, at least for now, in terms of maintenance, one of the things that we need to look at is not only the cost of construction, but what it's going to cost to continue upkeep. What do you figure the shelf life on this to be? And I understand Trex is, on average, about 25 to 30 years before you have to do much replacing, but there is the staining and that kind of stuff. What do you see as this being a maintenance issue down the road?
So the reason I picked Trex was because it does have less maintenance over time, since it's just easier material. But I'd say probably maybe upkeep, I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Probably pay somebody to clean it every year or so. But I'm not quite sure yet. But I don't think the Trex will need to be replaced in a long while. So
you're not expecting him to come back when he's 40 to make sure that it's in good shape? And
Well, we won't be here, so I'm not going to worry
Right, I
about
was gonna
that.
say, 25 years you may. I know. Okay, any further questions or anything else?
So is this a kayak launch / fishing pier, or what do you envision as the activities associated with it?
So I'd say it's mostly designed just to be a place to observe the native wildlife, since it is a very pretty area. But I would say kayak launch is just a little extra work, and I think the purpose is really just to connect more with nature, and we already have kayak launches that fellow Eagle Scouts have built on the island. So I think it's more of just to be for fishing and to see the native wildlife and all that.
Okay, thanks.
One last question, if I
Of
may.
course.
There are no homes that are within several hundred feet on the east side of the canal. There are residences across the canal. I think maybe you can look at that as a 75-foot water barrier. Have you had any, or has the building department, community development received any thoughts about objecting to this project or anything like that? Has anybody come to you or to the building department that you're aware of and said, not in my backyard?
Nobody has, to my knowledge. There is probably 2 houses visible just far off in the corner, but I don't believe that it would be obstructing really anybody, since it is quite a secluded area compared to everywhere else on the island. So I don't see anybody trying to file a complaint. If they do, I'm sure we could work that out, but for now, right now, there's nobody said anything.
No, I guess my only thoughts as we think about this is what kind of signage and who's going to be responsible for that, township or open space, or says you'll need some of that down there.
Absolutely.
I think it's overall, I think it's a great idea, and appreciate all your efforts and obviously coming forward and presenting a good presentation like you have.
Thank you, Enzo. Again, I'm going to ask that you be put on the township board meeting, not this coming board meeting, but the last board meeting in April, which is the 4th Monday. Would you be up for that?
I'm sure I'd be up for that.
Good.
Gotta check my schedule, of course, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
Look forward to presentation. And again, I want to echo Theresa's thoughts. I really appreciate this. We've been talking, you and Bill and I, for probably 10 months on this, and it's very nice to have parents involved, but everything I'm seeing is that they're there. I haven't seen your father in quite some time. I've spoken with your mother several times, but it seems like they're there to maybe give you a little support. But this is your project, everything that I'm seeing through and through. It has your fingerprints on it. I remember when we first looked at this idea, and I'm absolutely happy that you're doing this. It's going to make Rosie a little better. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
very
guys.
much.
And thank you, Enzo's mother.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. Do we need to at least make a motion to recommend
I would
project to the township board?
I would recommend this project as presented, putting in a access path and an observation / fishing deck on the canal as presented by Enzo, and would ask for a vote on that right now if we can.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Weeks. Any further discussion? All those in favor of Enzo Bonomos, I gotta get your name pronounced correctly. Bonomo. Okay, now I got it right. Okay, the Eagle Scout project, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Good. Congratulations, very good. Look forward to working with you.
May I be excused for the balance of the meeting?
You may.
Thank you, sir.
The next order of business is an action item that I don't know if we can act on it or not, but we're going to try, okay? And I do know we do have some members that are absent, but one of the things that we need to do between now and obviously the end of the fiscal year, which we just started, is to come up with our goals for 24-25. And we also need to put that in the context of our 5-year plan that we have developed. And Theresa, how long have we been in the 5-year plan? Already 4 years probably, or at least pretty close to it. So we need to review that, but it's a question of getting everybody together and the time. So I do know I threw out like the April 13th as a possible Saturday morning event, but I know that that's also the Nature and Land Conservancy's grand opening, and a lot of us will be there. So that was a bad date on my part. Okay. So is there any preference, or is there any time between now and our next major event, which we'll be talking about, is Dump the Junk on April 27th? So is there a time, sometime in April, that we can meet, and it might be in a convenient time for you? During school time would be fine for you, I know, but and we'll try to work around Mandy and Ray to try to see if we can make this happen. I'm not adverse to having like a little, we've done this before, a study session like at 5 o'clock or something, or 5:30. I don't think it's going to take an inordinate amount of time, but it is worth looking at and doing, because we do set our goals and we assess how well we've met our goals. So, and we generally have had a pretty good track record of, once we set our goals, we actually do a pretty good job of meeting them. Let me ask you this: Saturdays are out? After 5, maybe 5:30. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll have like pizza and salad or something like that. We'll do that. All right. So let's shoot for Thursday, April 11th at 5:30, for the purpose of setting our goals and reviewing our 5-year plan. Is there a motion to on that action item to approve Thursday, April 11th at 5:30 as our study session for the purpose of setting our goals and reviewing the 5-year plan? So moved by Mr. Bonney, second by Ms. Weeks. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Good. All right. So I'll get the word out to folks. I will get the 5-year plan for those of you who don't have your copy. We'll get you that, and so we can take a look at that ahead of time. And I meant to do it, but as we know, the road to hell's paved with good intentions, coming into a spring break time period. All right. Next order of business is our Dump the Junk, Find a Treasure. And so the signs are up, at least at Four Corners and on Bridge Road, and so you'll be at least seeing that. We're going to get some more word out. I think in the Grosse Grand there'll be publication of an article on our Dump the Junk, Find a Treasure. I did get a call into Cass Community Services, who will not be able to help us because they have another, like a big event downtown, and so they will not. So we maybe need to see if we can't find another, when the event is all over, that we can find someone to help, a place to take the excess. I do know that St. James Episcopal Church is having their rummage sale, and then a couple years ago we did bring some stuff to them. And again, I think they're selective in terms of what they want, okay? But again, that's I think a possibility.
I mean, I just had a thought pop in my head. I wonder if there is a open storage unit that maybe the owner would be willing to allow use of for a week or something.
Until like Cass Community Services could do it.
Right.
That might be a possibility. I think we
It's a short distance.
Yeah, you're right, exactly.
And it's local. I assume the business owner is local or not.
I can look into that. I will check.
Nice community service
Very much so.
for them and us.
Good idea.
Yep. very much so. I do know that Carl has a trailer, and then we have the capability of like loading that up, and we've done that in the past. We did have a rather curious response last time from Salvation Army. I know that they said, "Oh yeah, we'll take it," and then they didn't take a lot of stuff, and that was problematic. So we need to kind of get a better handle on that.
Of course, we'd have to.
Right.
We have to be judicious about how we. If
Yes.
someone volunteers their space and we say 2 weeks, we need to.
It's got to get it out, right? Exactly. So I'll work backwards, and
It may result in more work for us,
Mhm.
but at least it's a try.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. But again, that's going to be on Saturday, April 27th. The Rotary is also sponsoring that very same day from 9 o'clock till noon, an opportunity to have documents or important papers or anything, love letters from a lost love that you want shredded, shredding event that day. So they will, they'll be there, and I think they're going to be parked just before our dump the junk, the DPS yard, and so they'll be able to have their event also at that point. And I've talked to John Bergen, who's the president of the Rotary, and he's looking forward to at least working in conjunction with us. But again, it's from 9 to noon, and it'll be like at the Island Athletics or the racket club there, right at the end of their drive, the farthest drive closest to the DPS yard. And I do know even before that time, the Kiwanis is having their the island-wide cleanup, which is on the 20th. And so the people want to volunteer for that. There's you can start your Earth Week off right by getting out there and keeping our little corner of the earth, make it a little cleaner and better. So that's at least some major events coming up. And I do know the Nature and Land Conservancy has a grand opening that's going to be happening even before that. Anything else on now the question will be, are normal great volunteers able to work that day, April 27th? Yes. They can make that, bring your friends, okay? That's good. And it doesn't just have to be, the normal little team we have. If you have, more is fine, because we can always put you to work.
Yeah, if you can get the NHS students or, or the environmental club.
Exactly, yeah. So, no, the many hands make easy work. We also have an opportunity, we talked about this at our last meeting. There is something known as Team Rubicon and the Rubicon Project that is coming also that entire weekend to Grosse. And this is a humanitarian group of military veterans for the vast majority of it, but there are also firemen and teachers and police officers who are involved, who are going to be in open space areas and in Grosse Nature and Land Conservancy areas, and they're going to be practicing their chainsaw skills, because generally what they do is they help FEMA, the federal emergency relief efforts there in terms of cleanup throughout the United States. They were, the Team Rubicon was like down in Florida last year. They were in Costa Rica. They went to, at one time, it originated like in 2010. They were in Haiti when they had some of their earliest earthquakes. So they are a local support team that comes and will be, practicing their skills. And so it's really a win-win for not only our nature areas, but also for this important group. So. Any question about that but that's going to be that same, so it's going to be a busy weekend. We also want to thank the Presbyterian Church is going to house them. And so they're going to be staying at the church on Friday night and Saturday night, and they'll be working through, from Saturday all day and then most of Sunday before they leave. And they'll be coming from all over the Michigan. It's not just local area, but some are staying, coming, from Alpena or from Grand Rapids in order to participate in this.
Did we figure out the logistics of who's providing lunch on what day?
We have not, and that's something that we'll look to do, and we'll probably have, I don't think we're going to use township funds or open space funds, but we will provide, our day will be like Sunday to provide a lunch for them.
I say it would be better if we got Sunday versus Saturday.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
Anything else on that? So it's a busy weekend, certainly, for Dump the Junk and these other activities.
You know how many people will be?
They're going to be like 20 to 25, we're told. They're sending like an advanced team Friday night, and they're going to be bringing like some of their, trailers or wherever else they use. And they're going to be, they'll be staying like at the Presbyterian Church Friday night, and then as they eventually all come, they'll go to work on Saturday. We're going to do a walkthrough. They've already done one walkthrough, like with Ray and I believe Peter Kantz from the Nature and Land Conservancy, and have already identified areas that they want to try to tackle and get at. They don't climb trees. They don't do any kind of aerial work. It's either on things that are leaning or things that have already fallen on our trails or are a hazard, obviously. But they will practice, and they're used to doing some major. When they had that ice storm just recently, they were employed throughout parts of Michigan in helping DTE and helping Consumer Power and remediate the problem. And again, they are more of a local kind of at least Michigan based. Although they're all over the United States, I think the headquarters in Los Angeles. But they respond all throughout the world, and I think that's pretty remarkable that we have this opportunity. Anything else? We also this spring, and we talked about this at one of our last meetings, that the Meridian Woods Bridge over the ditch that's there, that goes from Heather Lane. Actually goes from up by Centennial Farm underneath Manchester, and then runs through the woods from the Heather Lane area all the way down to Rucker. We're working with the Pullman Corporation and Mr. Bill Vollenweider and the Vollenweider family in terms of refurbishing that, and so that's a community service project that the Pullman company and Mr. Vollenweider are supporting and paying. They have right now, I think they are looking as is like the Rubicon project to get their insurance all in order to release the township and them. But they're in that process right now, if they haven't already done so. And so they'll submit their plans. So they also want to try to have a seating area in that trail. So right where the bridge is, just it would be west, and where the junction of it turns. So we now have that East River cut. You can come off East River, and then you can go back to the main trail that cuts through the Meridian Woods. And so it's right at that junction where people, and I've seen more than a few people, I think probably you all have, first off, they use it on a regular basis, but also like I see people who are like, okay, which way do I go? I need a break. So I see them like sitting on the bridge, so I know there's some fatigue involved in that. But that's going to happen pretty soon too. And one last thing, I can just at least in terms of discussion, is that we have an opening upon the retirement of Cliff St. Pierre. So if you know anyone who would like to serve, or if there's anyone out in TV land wants to participate and be a member of this great committee that does wonderful work for the Township of Grosse Ile, there is an application that you can fill out online at which you can find at the Township website, and you can certainly do that, or you can talk to one of us, any members of the committee or our liaisons, and we can point you in the right direction, and we can go through that process. Anybody off the top of your head? No? Anybody want to volunteer them? Good, but we have a vacancy, and we would like to fill. I know those are big shoes to fill when we're looking at Cliff St. Pierre. Any other question or anything else on the discussion items? So busy spring, which is good. Kaitlyn Robinson's here as one part of our school liaison team. And Kaitlyn, is there anything happening in the school? I know you guys are just coming off of spring break.
There really isn't much going on that I've heard of, at least. As far as like Earth Day things go, I don't know. I know that elementary schools usually have something planned, but I don't think the high school or middle school has anything. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Maybe we can find out and see if there is anything going on, or if
Yeah.
there's any. That would be good. I do know one of the things that we did, and Alicia's not here. Is excused, but she did say that she would try to work with the high school team and the National Honor Society, if nothing else, to go around and like clean up some of the signs that we have. So we're gonna at least maybe like around that Earth Day or Earth Day weekend, that we would go through, and high school students would go and check out the signs and clean them up. That'd be step number one. The posts are generally, in some way, like as we've talked about, might just need a quick paint job, which would be pretty easy. Others need to be replaced. We at our last meeting, we allocated up to $5,000 for new signs or replacement of signs, so that we have that. So we're going to identify, and I think as you drive along, I think members of this team, you see some that are in pretty bad shape, and you can say, okay, that one. I called today again. My custom sign I believe it's on Northline and Taylor, is generally the vendor that we have used in the past, or the township uses. And their salesman was going to get back in touch with me. And again, I want to see, number one, last I talked to him was like in the fall, and the prices may have gone up now. I did talk to Derek Thiel, and he said that in all likelihood, we're not just going to get the signs, we're going to have them install it. So that would include the installation. So we have to look at that. Not necessarily the posts, because, those, I think they get at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever else, but they would be doing at least that. So that, again, that's a cost, and our DPS cannot just, handle, they could do it, but it's a question of they're doing about 15 other things too. So anything on that one. So that's happening. But yeah, so keep us posted on that, and maybe talk to some of your teachers that are involved in the environmental awareness, or that maybe, if nothing else, they can get everybody outside to do some simple cleanup around the school, which is not all a bad idea, okay? Mr. Bloetscher, I believe, left to go to the police commission study session, so he is not here. Anybody want to speak on the township's behalf? And Mandy Phillips has just left, but Bert, would you mind doing her report?
This is on behalf of Amanda Phillips, board member of the Grosse Nature and Land Conservancy. So she said, the Conservancy recently updated the kiosks at the Bruce Jones Preserve and Meridian Trailhead with new information. The deadline for the Bruce Jones Scholarship is tomorrow, April 3rd. April events include April 13th and 14th, the John C. Jackson Resource Center grand opening at 8801 Macomb Street. The open house will be Saturday, April 13th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and Sunday, April 14th, noon to 3 p.m. Join us for a celebration of our new resource center. We will have a ribbon cutting ceremony, and that's at 11 a.m. on Saturday. Guest speakers and more. So I know I received a postcard talking about that, so everyone should have received that at their home. She says parking might be limited, so we encourage you to walk, ride your bike, or park elsewhere along Macomb Street. Also on Sunday, April 14th, backyard birding at the airport natural area. That's from 8 to 9:30 a.m. And the explanation for that is, so that's at the parking lot is the Gibraltar Bay unit of the refuge, 28820 East River Road. Have you ever looked at your bird feeder and asked, which bird is that? We'll talk about bird feeders, bird watching, and bird ID in southeastern Michigan. And that program will be presented by the Huron Clinton Metro Parks person. So you can, for more information, ginlc.education@gmail.com. Saturday, April 20th is the Island Cleanup Stewardship event. That's the Kiwanis sponsored event. You can volunteer with the Conservancy. Meeting at the John C. Jackson Resource Center, 8801. April 27th is a potential rain date. Sunday, April 21st is an Oriole talk at the Resource Center with Phil and Theresa Baracco, the owners of Wild Birds Unlimited in Woodhaven. And as far as Earth Day goes, the Conservancy, I'm on the Education Committee, and we're going to be working with Meridian School. And the focus of the student council that we worked with is going to be doing a trash cleanup around the school that day. We're going to be meeting again with them at 7:15 in the morning next Wednesday. So that's about it.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that on behalf of Amanda and the Nature Conservancy. Theresa, anything on the welcome letters? I know we're doing those on...
We will issue those when we have the new pamphlets out.
Right. Good.
Yes, I have the names from March.
Good. Thank you. Those are coming. I can say this, this is not just a revelation, but as I was walking my dog the other day, I came across, right across from Meridian School, the first time I've ever seen in my life on GROSSE, a bluebird, a real bluebird, not a blue jay, but a bluebird. And I didn't have time to get my camera out or my phone out to take a picture, but it was like stunning. It was, and it was very, very blue. It's awesome. So that's a great sign. Yeah, no, in our neighborhood there are Orioles that come. There was an Oriole that used to constantly peck at my daughter's bedroom window. So it was like, so I know all about Orioles.
Have you seen Orioles already?
This year, no.
No, not yet. I think it's a little early yet. Well, the
Wait.
weather's been. Have you
Right,
seen?
right. No.
No, they're coming.
But yeah, I haven't seen bluebirds, but the talk at the Resource Center last month with the folks from Wild Birds Unlimited, they did say that we do have them on GROSSE. I've never seen them.
Orioles?
Bluebirds.
Or bluebirds, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Orioles
No,
are-
I can tell you, well, my entire life, that's the first bluebird I ever saw in my life. Except in a zoo or somewhere, which is not where they
I
belong.
saw some at Kensington
Yeah.
some years
No,
ago.
I'm just saying.
Wood ducks have shown up at our house, so we're excited about that and
Yes.
hoping that they will move into our wood duck box.
Yep, they're starting, and the ducks are here and they're starting to nest, you can tell. Yep, good. Nothing else for these activities? Okay, so are there any public comments at this time? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 8:48.
So moved.
By Ms. Weeks, second by Mr. Urbani. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Good, thank you.